Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gnippets. My name is Germ, and today I wanted to tell a story about me when I was a senior in high school. And I had a dog named Lucy. She was my first dog, and I loved her with all my heart. And I remember she died. My dad called me. They were at the vet. He and my mom called me after a track meet. He said, "We're at the vet. We just put down Lucy. Take an Uber to get home." And I didn't cry. I don't even think I was upset about it. And coincidentally, I think, well, I don't really know what segue word to use here, but in the next 48 hours after my dog Lucy had died, she was sick with something. She had some sort of liver or kidney disease. But regardless, 48 hours after the fact, my bird died, and then my great-grandfather died. And I did not cry, and I was not upset about any of them. And it didn't bother me at the time, but looking back on it now, it doesn't bother me as much. I think I've spent enough time thinking about it to know why it didn't bother me. And I think it's because in the case of my bird and my great-grandfather, I can pretty easily say, or pretty confidently say, that I wasn't as emotionally attached to my bird, and I wasn't as emotionally attached to my grandfather. He lived halfway across the globe. I barely talked to him. But my dog I saw every day. It slept in the same bed as me. I love that dog. And I think the reason I wasn't upset or cried was because I knew it was dying. I watched it over the several months get worse and worse and worse. It couldn't run around, it couldn't jump up on the bed, and I knew it was only a matter of time before she was gone. And I think I spent that time, the previous months with her, distancing myself emotionally. Instead of being there in the last moments of my dog's life, loving her, I not ignored her, but I was mentally preparing for her to die, for her to be gone. And I wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't, because I feel like, while it hasn't occurred yet, I feel like I have set a precedent for myself that when things are going to disappear or to leave me, or when I know something temporary is going to fall through, or when I know something is temporary at all, I begin to distance myself. I begin to remove myself. And I think this applies to not only other human beings, other living things, but perhaps to relationships as well. Maybe you're at a summer camp, and instead of making friends and having fun, making memories, you're ignoring them all. You're afraid to connect with them, or I'm afraid to connect with them. Similarly, maybe you're studying abroad at a university, and I know people who would have study abroad like girlfriends. They'd date only for that semester, that term. And it always felt so wrong to me to do that. But to connect with someone like that romantically, even for a short period of time, I think, or now I think, as someone who's older, is a beautiful thing. Perhaps the emotional turmoil, the romantic agony afterwards worth it. But I'm more worried that I might do that to someone that I love, more so than the experiences. I shouldn't say I've lived a good time, and I'm not ready to experience more. I sure hope I experience more, but I'm really worried that if I have a friend who gets sick, or a family member that gets sick, I hope that I don't spend their last moments ignoring them or distancing myself or separating myself from them emotionally. I hope I spend those moments with them, loving them, and enjoying every second that I have with them. And I'll spend the time distancing and forgetting. Or, I don't want to spend the time distancing, forgetting, or separating. When someone dies or someone leaves, I always want to love them forever, for as long as they're gone. I don't know what the mourning process is like. I've never really gone through it in a proper way, I guess, if that's not obvious. But I hope, for at the very least, for the time that I have with somebody, I hope that I can give them my best, whatever that may be, positive or negative.